Salesforce security বলতে আমি কি বোঝাই? Salesforce security বলতে আমরা বোঝাই who can see what is the authorization of the people. ঠিক আছে? So security means all the people who are logging into Salesforce, how they are seeing data. Okay. Does that mean that different people who are logging into the same organization will see different data? Absolutely. They will see different data. Why they will see different data? Because what information is important for one department of an organization is not relevant for another department. Then there is no need to show that data to some other people who do not need to see it. And by business process also, you do not want to share the data. Why? Because that can lead to inconsequential behavior which you cannot control, right? Like two salesmen, they should not see each other's deals, right? Probably because they want salesman to keep guessing about how the other salesman is performing, and they can then perform and concentrate on their own deals, right? Or they can like cause some inadvertent data leak that might be causing a deal rupture. So there can be many issues. So there can be many situations for which one user of the same org may not see the same data as another user of the same org. So how do we control it, and who controls it? The person who controls this is, of course, the system administrator. That is you. You will be able to control how different users will see data. So let's see what is happening. So I will basically create 4 circles. Okay. First level security is organization level security. Okay, that means who can log into your organization, and if you have any policies for logging into your org. Okay, that means your Salesforce instance, your company's Salesforce instance. What kind of setting this can be? You can set many things. You can set login hours, like you do not want people to be logging in anytime after office hours or anytime before office hours, right? You don't want Salesforce to be accessible to anybody. That you can control using login hours. Then you can control Salesforce to be only opened from specific networks. Like if they come to office, then only they will be able to use Salesforce. Even Salesforce is a cloud product. You can open it at your home, but there can be many organizations, because of many important security features, they will not allow Salesforce to be opened from their home. They will say, come to the office network and then only access Salesforce. How do you control that? IP ranges. Okay, so these are, then you can say set different password policies, right? Like how often the password needs to be reset. So does the password expire automatically, and so on. Everything, all these login related settings you can apply, and you can basically apply it in 2 places. One in org level settings that you can set up. Also, you can set this up at profile level. Okay, mainly profile. What is a profile? Profile is a feature of Salesforce through which you can define a login user is of which type. So it is a user type. Profile means user type. How does that matter? Profile is also a collection of permission. Okay, so when you are defining a user type, you are also defining what permissions that user type has. Okay, in Salesforce, we do not give permissions individually to different users. We give permissions to a profile. That profile is assigned to the user. Whenever you create a new user, you have to give a profile on that user. It's mandatory. Without using a profile, you cannot create a user. That profile also defines what permissions that user will have. That means There can be multiple users who will have the same profile. If that is the case, in that case, all these users will also have the same access or same permissions. Any questions? So what kind of different profiles we have in Salesforce? By default, Salesforce gives us many standard profiles. We'll see that. Like system administrator is one of the profile. Like standard user is another profile. There are many standard profiles are there. You can also clone any of these profiles and create a custom profile. Okay, it is also fine. So you can create custom profiles, which is specific to your organization. You cannot change standard profiles. You cannot modify standard profiles, but you can clone the standard profiles, and clone means copy. You can clone the standard profile and create a custom profile, and then in that custom profile you can change permissions. Okay, so first level access, that is organizational level access, you can define on that profile, and we'll show you how. Second, when a person logs into Salesforce, then the second level profile access comes for them. What is the second level access? Is called OLS, or object level settings, or object level security. This is the object level security, right? So people who cannot pass the first layer, this security is of no use for them, right? So that is why I have created circles. It's like chakra view. If you cannot get past the first layer, there is no point discussing the second layer, right? So you will be blocked either in this level or this level or this level or this level. Okay. So if you are blocked in any level, then you cannot, the inner access is of no use for you, right? So that is very critical to understand. So if a person can log in, then object level security is important for them. What is object level security? Salesforce has many objects, like standard objects and custom objects. What that person can do on that object, and how many objects he can do that. What kind of different activities can you do on an object? Answer me.
Read, create, update, edit.
Correct. Perfect. So there can be 4 permissions on an object: read access, create access, delete access, and update access, or edit access. So OLS is basically these 4 permissions: CRET, create permissions. For each individual object, you can define create, read, edit, delete access for a profile. That profile you can give to a user. That means if there are 2 objects on which you have given these permissions, then this person can only work or create, read, edit, or delete records in those objects. If you have not given any permission for any object to that profile, that means the user who is having that profile cannot even see that object. In Salesforce, almost like that object does not even exist for them. Because the bare minimum permission, what is needed in order to see an object?
Read permissions.
Read permission. So in order that a person even knows about an object or can access an object, the bare minimum permission which you have to give is read. Okay. Please note, these permissions are only applicable for the records owned by that user. So you are authorized to see the records owned by you. What does it mean? Owned by you? In Salesforce, when you are creating a record in any object, you will always get an owner field, right? That owner field must be the login user. Then only they are accessible to see the records. This create permission is only for the record owned by you, not for the records owned by somebody else. What happens for the records? Can you see somebody else's record or not? That is a different permission. This permission does not, object level security does not define the permission of records not owned by you. It is only defined for the permission which is owned by you. Okay, any questions? Okay, what? So object level security is create permission, create, read, edit, delete, create, read, edit, delete. What you can do, which data? Your own owned data. You can create a record in a table which you will be the owner. You can read, access any record which is owned by you. You can edit any record which is owned by you. You can delete any record which is owned by you. Clear? These 4 permissions is maximum you can give on a object level security on a profile. Clear? Now we get past to the another layer, that is record level security. So how different is object level security and record level security? Think about a table. The first access is the whole table. The second access is, can I access each row or not? Right? So horizontal access, then you will also have a vertical access. So it's a going deeper. So similar here, object level security, then record level security. Record level security means what? Can I now, I have now permissions, CRED is there. I can do whatever I can do on the records owned by me. What can I do with the records not owned by me? So record level security is basically a permission for the records not owned by you. Okay, what permissions are there? First, before that, OLS is defined again in profiles. OLS also has another thing called permission set. That is also a collection of permissions, just like profiles. But you can define object level security in permission sets. The benefit of using permission set is permission set can be many, and permission set can be as many permission set can be assigned to a user. Permission set is not mandatory. Okay, very important. Profile is mandatory, but permission set is not mandatory. Org level security you can define only in profile. You cannot define in permission set. Permission set, object level security you can define both in profile and in permissions. Please note that Salesforce in 2026 will stop giving permissions in profiles. Salesforce is moving away from profiles usage for permissions. All permissions will now become or go to permission sets. So we are in a process wherein we are transitioning from profiles to permission sets. So right now, if you want to define object level security, always define it in permission sets, not in profiles. After 2026, there will be no profiles wherein will be given object level security. Clear? Any questions? So record level security. Where do we define record level security? Record level security is defined in a thing called object-wide defaults. Org-wide defaults, not object. Org-wide defaults. Org-wide defaults is defined for each object. Every object will have a OWD setting. Okay. What are the different settings of OWD? Possible? Question bolo.
স্যার একবার বলুন।
OWD setting কি ধরনের? What are the different OWD settings possible?
পাবলিক রিড, পাবলিক প্রাইভেট, পাবলিক রিড, পাবলিক রাইট, আর হচ্ছে কন্ট্রোল বাই প্যারেন্টস।
Good. So private is one access. Public read only is another access. Public read write is another setting, in fact not access setting. And another is controlled by parent. It is not available for every object. There will be specific object on which you will get controlled by parent. Private means non-owner cannot see records. Simply hidden. You cannot even go to workbench, you can do a query, anything. You can, even in reports, dashboards, if your any other person's record, you will never get to see. Because OWD is set to private, that means only owners can see their own data. That's it. Okay. Non-owners cannot see data of other owners, right? You can only see your own data. That's it. Private. It is the most restricted setting. Okay, if there is any requirement in your organization that two people with the same profile probably cannot see each other's record, in that case, you have to set OWT to private. Just like opportunity, most of the time it is always set to private because you do not want the deals, one salesman to see another salesman's deals. That's why two salesmen probably they will always have the same profile. That means they can do OLS or permission sets. They will have the same setting. They can create, read, edit, delete records in opportunity object, but they will not be able to see other records in the same table, same object. Okay. Any questions? Record level security. Any questions on record level security? Okay. What is a public read only? Public read only means I can see another person's record. Non-owners can see records, but they cannot modify it. They can only see. It's a read access only. Even if you have a edit permission on your profile, you cannot edit somebody else's record. Okay. It's like a little lesser setting, but it is also a restricted setting. Okay. That means you're defining record level security. Third level is public read write. Public read write means there is no restriction. Owner and non-owner has the same permissions. Okay, so record level security does not even exist. By default, all objects will have public read write. Okay, public read write means there is no difference in access of owners and non-owners every time it is going on. There is no difference between the access of the owners and non-owners. Public read write. There is no record level security. It is a default record level security for any object. Okay. Last is control by parent. What is a control by parent? Control by parent is specifically for any child standard objects like contact. And there are some objects only that has control by parent setting. What it does is that like contact is a child of which object?
Account.
Account object. So whatever you are defining as OWT in the account will be applicable to the child also. That is control by parent. That means the owner of the parent record is also the owner of the child records. Okay. So if the setting of the account is applicable, that means if the account is set to private, then only control by parent means the contact automatically becomes private. Okay, whatever setting is there in the parent record, the parent object, that same setting is applying to the child object. Okay, so that is what is controlled by parent. The same thing is on any master detail object, that means master detail child object, is by default controlled by parent. That is the reason why master detail objects do not have a owner field at all. So the master detail records are their owner is basically the parent record owner. Okay, it's called a control by parent by default. So there is no need to define control by parent, or you cannot change control by parent for master detail. You can change it only for lookups. Okay. So this is all we have for record level security. Now the last level of security is the column access. So I can access the table. I can also access somebody else's record, but can I see all the fields values? No, I can restrict some of the fields, very critical information. Like in an employee table, I don't want to show salaries to any other employee. It is only, this can be only seen by the HR department. Or yeah, if that is the case, then what will happen? That is called field level security. FLS, OLS, RLS, and FLS. whenever you are discussing these two things, these nomenclatures are very important. These short forms are very critical. Most of the times this is used as a short form. What is FLS? FLS is defined as what fields values. What are the different permissions possible in FLS? Tosun?
Visible and editable, sir.
Correct. So whether that field is visible to me, and if visible to me, can I even edit the value? Okay. Where do we define FLS? FLS we define in, again, profiles or permission sets. Okay, you can define FLS in profiles. You can also define FLS in permission sets. Where do we define RLS, Nikita?
Sir,
Where do we define record level security?
sir,
ক্লাসে অ্যাটেনশন দিচ্ছ না?
না স্যার আমি একটা বিষয়
Open
লিখলাম।
খোলা আছে, এখন পেজটা খুলে রেখে কোশ্চেনটা করছি। সিনেমা দেখলে হবে না কিন্তু। অরিজিৎ বলো, where do we define record level security?
Profiles.
Record level security,
না
Where do
স্যার,
we-
record level securities are defined in objects.
objects.
Object
No.
records.
No. Where do we define record level security? Sustika. Where do we define record level security, Abhishek? Let's go one by one. Where do we define org level security? যে কেউ বলো।
In profile, sir.
Security কোথায় ডিফাইন করছি?
In profile, sir.
In profiles. আর কোথাও করা যাবে?
No.
Object level security কোথায় ডিফাইন করছি?
Profile and permission.
Profile and
sir.
permission sets.
Profiles and permission sets. Record level security কোথায় ডিফাইন করছি?
OWD.
Organization wide.
Org wide defaults. FLS কোথায় ডিফাইন করছি?
Profile and permission. sir.
Profiles and permission sets.
Files and permission sets. OLS এ কি কি পারমিশন থাকে?
OLS a CRAD operation.
Sir,
CRED. RLS এর কি কি পারমিশন হতে পারে? বা কি কি সেটিং হতে পারে?
Private,
private,
Public
public
read
read
only,
only,
read
public read write and controlled by parent.
আর FLS এর কি কি পারমিশন হতে পারে?
Visible and
visible
editable.
and visible.
ক্লিয়ার হচ্ছে সবারই? Any questions? Any confusion? আচ্ছা। What is the total permission of a user is defined by his profile plus all the permission sets he has. ठीक है? তার মানে কি? In profile I have given read permission in any object. In permission set 1 I have given create permission. In this permission 2 I have given a edit permission. Then this person has total 3 permissions. Any confusion? Any questions? Normally কি হয়, whenever you are defining C permission or E permission, R permission will automatically be associated with it. You cannot give a person create permission without giving a read permission. You cannot give a person edit permission without giving him a read permission. Read permission is a must for any higher permission. Write permission cannot be given without a read permission. Okay. Create, edit, and delete are write permissions. That means you can modify records, right? Modify records cannot be done if you do not even have access to that record. Access to the record is defined by read permission. Okay, whatever permissions we have defined here are all data permissions. Okay, this has to do with the data inside your table. Okay, there are many permissions which does not is not related to data at all. Those permissions are also there in profiles and permission sets, but we will not discuss this today. We are only talking about data security today. Clear? What records can I see? What records I cannot see? And what part of the record I can see? Okay. I have a requirement that two salesmen cannot see each other's record. What will I do?
Sir, I will use the OWD. I will give.
You will give what? OWD কি দেবে? What would be the OWD setting? Anybody else?
Private, sir.
Private, absolutely. So if it is a private model in OWD, then two users cannot see each other's record because two users will have different ownership, right? I don't want people to delete their records, delete anybody, but in an object, I don't want people to delete records. They can create, read and edit only. Delete should not be done on any data. Only system administrator can delete records. If that is the requirement, what will you do? How will you implement this?
Create, read and edit permissions.
Here, read and edit permission, fine. But what will you do? How will you implement this requirement? My requirement is, except system administrators, nobody should delete records in the account table. What will you do?
I will select OWD in public read only, sir.
So public read,
Owner-
right?
Owner can delete their own records, right? A requirement, does this requirement is talking about non-owners data? Are we talking about non-owners data?
ওকে, সো এফএলএস এ আমরা হচ্ছে ভিজিবল অ্যাক্সেসটা দেব, তাহলে হচ্ছে
আমি
কলাম
FLS পর্যন্ত যাইনি। My requirement is nobody except the system administrator should be able to delete account records. এটা আমার requirement. কিভাবে implement করব?
তাহলে পাবলিক রিড অন না প্রাইভেট করে দিল।
প্রাইভেট করলে কি হবে?
প্রাইভেট করলে এটা শুধু
আমি আমার রেকর্ড ডিলিট করতে পারবো না? আমি আমার রেকর্ড কি ডিলিট করতে পারবো না?
রিড রাইট, তাহলে রিড রাইটে বুঝতে পারছি।
এটা কি অ্যাক্সেস, এই রিকোয়ারমেন্টে কি অ্যাক্সেস চাইছে? অবজেক্ট লেভেল সিকিউরিটি, রেকর্ড লেভেল সিকিউরিটি নাকি ফিল্ড লেভেল সিকিউরিটি? কি মনে হচ্ছে? What is this requirement about? My requirement is, except system administrators, nobody should be able, customer বলে দিয়েছে তোমায় এই requirement, except system administrators, nobody should be able to delete account records. কিভাবে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করবে এটা? আজকে তো শিখেছো সেলসফোর্স কি, প্রোফাইল, পারমিশন সেট, হাবি জাবি সব সিকিউরিটি শিখে গেছো। এবার এই রিকোয়ারমেন্টটা এসেছে তোমার কাছে, কিভাবে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করবে এটা? অভিষেক বলো।
স্যার আরএলএস এ দেবো স্যার, রেকর্ড লেভেল সিকিউরিটি স্যার, ক্রিয়েট, রিড আর এডিট পারমিশনে টাকা দেবো, তাহলেই হয়ে যাবে।
না
আবার বলো
record level security से create, read and edit permission
রেকর্ড লেভেল সিকিউরিটি কি কি টাইপ হতে পারে?
স্যার বলবো,
বলো।
এখানে হচ্ছে ওডব্লিউডি তে পাবলিক রিড অনলি করলে এটা হয়ে যাবে, যে শুধু সিস্টেমে
OWD
নন
তে
অনটা
public
ডিলিট
read
করতে পারবে না।
করি, OW তে পাবলিক রিড অনলি করলে ওনারকে কি আটকানো গেল ডিলিট করা থেকে?
না।
হ্যাঁ?
না,
তা আমার তো রিকোয়ারমেন্ট হচ্ছে কেউই ডিলিট করতে পারবে না। ওনারকে কি করে আটকাবো?
স্যার যদি একটা পারমিশন সেট ক্রিয়েট করতাম যেখানে এক্সেপ্ট সিস্টেম অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেটর আর কেউ ডিলিট করতে পারবে না ওই রেকর্ডস গুলো।
পারমিশন সেট বানালে কি পারমিশন সেট, পারমিশনটা কি কি ডিফাইন করবে?
মিউটিং পারমিশন,
পারমিশনস ইনসাইড দ্যাট, বলো পারমিশনসটা বলো।
মিউটিং
ইউ আর গোইং ইন
পারমিশন।
রাইট লাইন, এবার রাইট মানে ঠিক রাস্তায় হাঁটছো, বলো এবার নামটা দাও।
স্যার মিউটিং পারমিশন সেটে ডিলিট অপশনটা মিউট করে দেব, only the access will be given to the owners of the record who have created, except that all other profiles এ
দাঁড়াও, আবার নতুন করে বলি, কি আরেকবার বলো কি করবে তুমি? একটা নতুন পারমিশন সেট ডিফাইন করবে, সেই পারমিশন সেটে কি পারমিশন থাকবে? কি পারমিশন দেবে? অবজেক্ট লেভেল সিকিউরিটি মানে অবজেক্ট লেভেল পারমিশন দেবে, রেকর্ড লেভেল পারমিশন দেবে, নাকি ফিল্ড লেভেল পারমিশন দেবে? ওএলএস ডিফাইন করছো, আরএলএস ডিফাইন করছো, না এফএলএস ডিফাইন করছো অন দ্যাট পারমিশন?
স্যার RLS।
রেকর্ড লেভেল সিকিউরিটি, রেকর্ড লেভেল সিকিউরিটি কি প্রোফাইলস বা পারমিশন সেটে দেওয়া যায়? কি শিখলাম আমরা এতক্ষণ?
ও সরি, অবজেক্ট লেভেল সিকিউরিটিতে দেওয়া যায়, আর এইদিকে ফিল্ড লেভেল সিকিউরিটিতে দেওয়া যায়। তো ডিলিট ফিল্ডটাকে ওখানে মিউটিং পারমিশন সেটে আমাকে কি বলে
ঠিক
ওটাকে,
আছে, এই কোশ্চেনটা আপাতত আর দেখবো, তার আগে আমরা একটুখানি ট্রেল হেডটা দেখে নিই। মানে আমরা আগে দেখি, একটা ভিজুয়ালাইজ করি ব্যাপারটা, দেখি তার পরে অ্যান্সারটা দেওয়া যায়। We'll come back to you. We'll come back to the same question. You have to answer. Am I showing my screen?
ইয়েস স্যার।
Batch 24. যে সময় তোমার একটা hands-on org বানাও, whenever you create a hands-on org, Salesforce automatically creates a user for you through which you are logging in. Okay, you can also log into this hands-on org using user ID and password. How will you do that? If you go to setup, or there's an easy way also, you can go to these settings. It's object settings. Here you can see this is your login username. Okay, and how will I get the password? You have to go to this. You can do a change password, or you can, I think, change my password. You can go forward and you can create a password here. When you define a password, then you can start using, you can log into this created account using username and password. Okay, where will you get the username? Username is here. This is your username. How will you go there? Under your this icon, there is a settings. Okay, this is not the setup. Please remember that. Okay, in setup, the system administrator can only go. So you are also a system administrator. Of course, setup is accessible to you. Setting is the user's own setting. This setting all users, system administrator, non-users, both will have this setting. They can change many things. Here, system administrator can see all users. On the home page, if you search, you'll see all users. Therefore, one of the user is basically you. Salesforce has automatically created one user. Trailhead has basically created one user for you and also connected this to your Trailhead. That's why you can directly launch it from Trailhead. That is called single sign-on. We will discuss this. It's an advanced feature of Salesforce. But single sign-on does not need you to log in again. That is a benefit. You have logged into Trailhead. That is single sign-on. So you automatically can now log into another application. Two systems can be connected. That is what is single sign-on. So you are not basically needed to again log into Salesforce. But by default, all the people who are logging into Salesforce will always be logging in using login.salesforce.com, and they will use a user ID and password. How do we know that? This is the URL to login. Or create your own password and try to log in to the playground using your own password. Okay. Second part. So this is the user. Can I create a new user? Of course you can. You can only create one more user. Okay. Here, this user license is very important. There are many type of licenses are there. All these licenses are what? Licenses are basically products of Salesforce. You can think of different products. So right now we are only concentrated with the Salesforce SaaS license, which is basically Salesforce. So this is the license we are talking about. Forget about the other products of Salesforce. Yeah, we are not discussing that. So this is the Salesforce license. That means I want to log into Salesforce SaaS product. That means Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. Here, that is a Salesforce SaaS product. And I have to define a profile. So these are the standard profiles Salesforce has given you. Some of them are custom. You can create your own custom. You see, let me create a new profile. Here we have the profiles. So what Salesforce by default gives many standard profiles. You see, some of them are custom profiles. It is marked as tick, tick, tick. We'll also start with custom. So let us first see the system administrator. This is your profile. Yeah. If this does not look like this, there is a reason for why it is not. So you will see that later. So it basically you will see all permissions here grouped together. It is the advanced profile view which I have switched on. You can switch it on anytime. It will look just like permission sets. Permission sets and profiles look exactly the same. So we will talk today about object permissions. Before that, we also can define this kind of system permissions. System permissions means login hours, IP range, password policies. These are all defined using system permissions, which you can define in profiles. Let's see what can we define in permission sets. Permission sets are same things. Here, you can also define, you see, system permissions are not some things which you can define in permission sets. You can only define app permissions. System permissions can only be defined in profiles. Okay. So this app permissions will migrate to permission sets only. People like Salesforce is stopping the use of profiles for app permissions. So that is what is the roadmap going forward. So always try to give app permissions, all these kind of permissions using permission sets. Okay. So what are we talking? The first level permission is what? Login object or organization level permissions. Where do I give that? Where will I give organization wide permissions, organization level permissions like login hours, IP ranges?
In
In
different profiles.
profiles.
Achha, where will I go and do that? In which section? App or system?
Sir, system.
System. Here in system, you will get login hours. Here you can define what is your login hours. You can define like I will want people only to access it from 10 o'clock to 10. Like 10 at the night and not more than that. Then you can define IP ranges. If you use IP ranges, then what you can define from which network people are logging. Okay. So first level permission is system level permission, which is defined in profiles, and this profile is associated to users. So I can create 2 users. One user is system administrator, and the user can also become a system administrator. In that case, both users have the same profile. I can define 2 users. One is a system administrator, another is a standard user. That means there are 2 users and 2 people have a different profile. If they have a different profiles, then all these accesses are completely different. Permissions are completely different. So that is how you are defining a user. User will always be associated to a profile, and profile has permissions. You can also associate, you see, if you see existing users, you see Animesh Banerjee has a system administrator profile. There is another integration user which has some other permission profiles. So all users will have different profiles usually. You can have multiple users with the same profile also. Okay. So in this playground, you can only create one more user with Salesforce license. So you can define it as a system administrator, or you can define it to a standard user. Try it out, change your profiles, and test it. Log in with both the varieties, and you can see how different the experience is. So normal users will not have system administrator permissions. You can create your own permission, just like I will go to a standard user permission and clone it and make it my standard. Okay. So here I have defined my own standard permissions. So here we can define, this is the profile I can assign to a new user. Whenever I am creating a new user, I can assign that. My standard permissions. Similarly, you can also create permission sets. You can clone an existing permission set. And you can define your own permissions. Okay, simple. So if you go to the user, you can define permission set or associate permission set down below. You can define it here. Permission set assignment, edit permissions. Yeah, you can define this. আমাদের ব্যাচে কি এই ক্লাসটা করানো হয়েছিল এর আগে? পড়া হয়েছে কেন?
না স্যার।
এটা অবাক লাগছে। Anyway, so my permission sets, you are getting that point. So you can assign edit permission sets. So you can define permission sets here. This is the new permission set I have created. I can assign it to this person. Now let us now look into object level security. The first level security is organization level security, that is profile, defined in profiles. The second level security is object level security. Okay. Now let us see. Both these object level security you can define in a profile and a permission set. Let's see the new profile which we have created. This one. It should be profile, named profile. It's not custom. So my custom. Just change this profile. So here app permission, I will go to object settings. When I am going to object settings, I can see all objects, right? And here I can define these permissions, like in account. I can define these permissions. Edit, delete. These are the 4 permissions. If I take read out, all permissions are gone, because you cannot define any other permissions without this. If you get create permission, read is also given. If you get edit permission, read is also given. If you get a delete permission, edit delete and read, all three are ticked. So you cannot give somebody a delete permission if they do not have a edit permission. Okay, but you can take out delete permission only. So they can have a read and edit permission. They cannot create new records. Okay, they can only see existing records, or they can modify existing records. So all variety of permissions you can give. What is this view all, modify all? We will discuss this later. These are the 4 permissions we are interested in. These are object level security. Do you know what is a record type? What is a record type? Where will you use a record type? এই record type মানে চ্যাপ্টারটাই যাওনি নাকি? এটা দেখিয়েছিলাম তো ক্লাসে। ভুলে গেছো নাকি মনে পড়ছে না? সাইলেন্স কেন বাবা? Nikita, bol, what is a record type? We have covered this in class, right? এটা কি ক্লাসে হয়েছে কি হয়নি?
স্যার আমার যতদূর মনে পড়ছে হয়নি, এবার লাস্ট ক্লাসে তো ভিডিও তো দেখলাম না।
সুরজিৎ বলো, ক্লাসে হয়েছে কি হয়নি রেকর্ড টাইপ?
হয়নি স্যার,
রেকর্ড টাইপ হয়নি?
রেকর্ড টাইপ না স্যার।
ওকে, তাহলে লেটস গো টু রেকর্ড টাইপ। What is a page layout? বলো, এটাও হয়নি।
পেজ লেআউট হয়েছে স্যার।
What is a page layout?
Page layout is about the related and detailed section of
So why this account? Why what is the benefit of creating multiple page layouts? Just like here, account has 4, 5 page layouts. Why will I create different page layouts? And where does it impact?
So for different users.
Okay. But what is the benefit of using a page layout?
Like the fields required in the marketing layout may not be required in sales layout. So for their requirement, as per their requirement, the fields are set up.
Okay. So this page layout will show up where? This page layout controls what? In the account screen. This is the account screen. Where is the page layout applicable?
It's when we are showing up a record.
It is the record screen.
Yes.
So any changes of page layout will reflect where?
In this
which
page.
part of this page?
In
Which part
detail
of
section, sir.
in detail section? If I make any changes in the account layout, like owner, rating, phone, and facts are there. I don't know if we have enabled lightning page. Yeah, we have also enabled lightning page. Okay, so if I go to the lightning page, I think if we have enabled record page, so it will not work. So let me go to any other object. Contact. Dynamic forms করেছিলাম না করিনি?
Dynamic forms? না স্যার।
ঠিক আছে। Okay. So now, light page layout account page আমি যদি দেখি, so let's go to the contact account page. So if I want to make any modifications like phone and home phone, I want the mobile number to come to the top. Where will I make the changes? I am in the page layout and I am moving this upward. I think they will not reflect immediately, but the detail section is basically changed immediately, right? So this portion of contact record page, the detail section is the section wherein page layout is in action. This page layout is in action in both add screen. Here mobile has come up. It is also in action in edit screen. Okay, delete does not need a layout. So if you do a delete, it will just ask for a prompt. So page layout is required for all the three operations of a record, that is create, read, and delete. Right? Which page layout is assigned to which user is defined using page layout assignment. If you go to this page layout assignment, you will see which layout has been assigned to which profiles. So the user who is logging in always will have a profile. So the page layout which is assigned to that profile, that is the page layout which will take care of this detail section, new section, new window, and edit window. So any fields which is not there in the profile layer will not show up. But you will be able to access this in Workbench. Even if that field is not available here, you will get that field in reports, dashboards, as well as in the Workbench or data load, whatever. So actually, page layout is not security. Page layout is a, what you can say, is like a simplification or usability. But page layout is not actually security. Okay. So if you want to use security, in that case, you have to go and use the field level security, which is again defined in profiles and permissions. Usually profiles is the bare minimum permissions, and permission sets you always use to add permissions, not for deleting permissions. Okay, deleting permissions is not possible in Salesforce. You can only give permissions. Okay, you cannot take or give a negative permission. It is not possible. Okay, you can only give positive permissions. So whenever you are going into custom object, or let's go back to our object. What was our name? My custom profile. Object level, when we go to object level security, we define OLS here. Profiles and permission set are also the place wherein you define the FLS, that is field level security. That is defined here, field permissions. It is each individual field of an object. Okay, there is another good screen which you can also use to give this permission. Okay, these permissions you can make it just a read only field, or you can make it a editable field. If you make it editable, you will obviously able to read it, right? So you can make it a read only field. Whenever you are making it a read only field in permissions, that means in the layout that field will never be an input field. It will always remain a read-only field. Okay. And it will be a read-only field for everywhere. So even if you are going in Workbench, you cannot modify the value. Okay. If I take out read permissions, then even if it is on your layout, still you will not be able to see. Okay. You will not be able to query it. This field almost does not even exist for you. You will never be able to see the data inside this field value if your profile does not have permissions for this field. You can create data in this table. Still, one field value you cannot see, input or modify. Nothing you can do on that. Clear to you? So field level permissions is again defined with the profiles, and permission sets both has the same technique. So page layout is not security. Please remember that. If somebody says that I don't want to show one field to some person, if your answer is just I will take out from the page layout, that is not the right answer. The right answer is I will take out the read access of that field from the field permissions. Field level security, I will take it out. If I take it out, then even if somebody accidentally puts that on the page layout, it does not matter. Salesforce will not show that field to that profile. Clear? But in the page layout, if it is not there, then also it will not be shown. But you can access that field value through other mechanisms like dashboard, report, workbench. Now, this layout is the static way or a defined way of seeing a record in Salesforce. Okay, but you can conditionally change the value of the layout or which layout to choose based on different kinds of records. What are different kinds of records? So if there is a requirement that there are two types of contacts in your table, one type of contact is basically the customers, another type of contacts are probably partners. If you have a requirement like that in your organization and you want a different layout for these two kinds of contacts because the values probably are different, then what will you do? Also, there might be the requirement that this lead source might be different. This will have different values for different kinds of contacts. Just like partners will have different values, partner contacts will have different values, customer contacts will have different values. How will I do that? I want to store both in the contact table. Therein, the concept of record types comes in. Here, in the object manager, I will go to the object and I will define a record type. I can choose from the master because there is no other record type. So I will say customer contact. If I can also give this to profiles, you see, I have given it, make available to profiles. It is very important the record type is assigned to profiles. Okay, please remember that. Now you are also defining which layout to use for this record type. I can say that let's use the contact layout for all profiles. You can define different layout for these profiles. Okay, we'll see this later. Save and new. I will create another layout. Another record type. This record type probably I will again create from master. This time is I will call partner contact. I will also make it active again, and I will make it available to all people. If there are more than one record type assigned to a profile, this time I will assign it to support layer. What does it mean? Now let us go and see the page layout. Here it is, now the fun begins. Previously there was only profiles at the left, and you only had this column, right? Master column. And you saw which layout has been assigned to which profiles. Now it has become more complicated. Now it is saying which record type will have what layout. So it may be even more complicated. Is single record type might not be the case for all. You can define, like, for system administrator, customer contact will have support layout, and this will have a sales layout. It's a different combination, right? So once you have defined a record type, you will always use a record type to create a record. You cannot create master records, okay, any further. If there is a record type assigned to you, then you have to use that record type to create your record, okay, always. Now what will happen if I have more than one record type? And now it has become complicated. If there is no record type defined on any record, there is previous records which I have created, there was no record type, right? So I will open this up in contact layout. If I am opening up a or editing a or creating a new record, I can choose to create it as a customer contact, then I will use this layout, or I can define this layout and use that. Let us see in action. So before that, when I used to create contact, there was no prompt, right? But this time Salesforce will ask me what kind of record you want to create, customer contact. Why it is asking me? Because Salesforce is asking me this value because so that it can choose which record type or which layout it will be presenting it to me. So if I choose this record type, then I will get a separate layout. If I choose this record type, I will get a separate layout. Okay. This prompt only comes in create mode. In edit mode, it will always open the layout which is relevant for that record type. If you change the record type, then it will change the layout also. So let's see this in action. I can see this window, this layout. If I go and choose this content, so different layout. So now the layout is not static. Now the same user is getting different layouts for different situations. Okay, so that is important. You can also control the pick list values using record type. Let's see that. If I go to this record type again, I go to this record type, I can see this is the different kind of pick list. So let's go to the lead source. Let me take partner referral away. No, let's keep, let's remove these two, web phone and partner referral, and make one default. Okay, let's go to another record type, which is the partner record type. Lead source, same pick list. I will now remove the first three and define other as a. So how does it change the behavior? New contact. See, in the lead source, I have only three values because this is the layout I'm using. This pick list is defined in this record type. If I have partner contact, now my lead source is not there. Lead source has only two values. Okay, so you can control which fields you are showing. You can also control what values are you showing inside a pick list using record type. Okay, and you can make it dynamic. By default, if you are not defining a record type, page layout are static for every user, but you can make it dynamic using record type. You can also make the values of a pick list dynamic using. Any questions? Any confusions? Record type page layout is not security. Please remember that. You can hide show things, but it is actually not security. So please do not confuse the usage of layout record type as a security measure. Okay, now let us see what is a record level security. That means a non-owner can see, or you will get this in sharing settings. When you go to sharing settings, you see all objects are here, and there are different values. Right? If I edit, you'll see this kind of values are there. You see, private read only, public read write. There are some objects wherein you have control by parent. Okay, so if I define this private, and I will define this later in the next class, what changes will happen. So you can have private. Private means only owner can see their records. Public read only means only owner can edit their records. And public read write means there is no record level security. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. Please remember, this does not mean that you can do if something which is not defined by your profile. That is the reason why we draw concentric circles. If there is a permission which is blocked in the outer circle, you cannot get that permission inside. Okay, so let's see this in action. So we have seen how object level security works. Record level security, where are we defining it? And we have also seen where field level security we have defined it. So security is all done. One important lessons that we have to cover, that is what is a combination between object level security and field level security. So let's see that. So let's have a combination of object level security and record level security. My object level security has 4 permissions. C, R, E, okay, OLS. Where do I define OLS?
Profile and permission set.
Profiles.
Profile. So let us not define this one. Profile and permissions. And where do I define record level security?
OWD.
Now let us talk about a setting. What setting? My setting is in OLS. I have given the same profile. I have created a custom profile, profile 1. I have given what is the bare minimum permission which I can give for OWD? Sorry, object level security.
Reads.
Reads.
So I have given a read permission. Okay, my OWD is set to private for the same object. Okay, object A. I have only given read permission. So this is what it is. C is basically strike through. C is not there. E is not there. And R is also not there. I have only given read, sorry, a D is not there. Thank you. I have only given read permissions to a profile and given that profile to both all users. Okay, all users. My OWD is set to private. Now tell me, can a owner create new record?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Can owner read his record?
Yes.
Yes, because it is private.
Because it is
Private.
private. OWD setting has nothing to do with owner's permission.
Okay.
OWD, sorry, OLS, owner's permission is only governed by the profiles. So in the profile, I have read permission, so I can read my data, my own data. Edit I can do or not? Owner can edit or not? They
No,
are
sir.
existing data. Owner cannot edit their own data. Delete permission. Can owner delete their own data?
No, sir.
We cannot delete owner because in the permissions I have not given. What can non-owner do? Can owner create a new record?
No,
No.
sir.
Can owner read?
No.
No, sir.
Read. Even if the permission is the same or the profile is the same, there is this permission is not there, and edit and delete will not be there. So non-owners cannot do anything. Owners can only read their own records. Let us change now to public read only. What change will happen here?
So the non-owners will also be able to read the records.
No,
Can
sir.
the owner
No,
public read only means non-owner can see others record. So non-owner is now able to read the record. Right? And why they are able to read the record? Because their profile allows them to read the record. Clear? But non-owners cannot edit the record. Why? Is it because of OWD or is it because of the profile?
So both profile and OWD.
Okay. How different will this be? Now I am making it a read write. What will happen?
So now also they won't be able to write because in their profile there is no edit access.
Absolutely. So the outer circle restricts access. So inner circle, even if you have made it open, it does not matter. What a owner cannot do, a non-owner cannot do, right? Because if they have the same profile. If there was a different profile wherein edit access was given, then the non-owner can edit. Okay, please remember that. Okay, now let us now improve the access level. So this time I am giving an edit access. On the profile, I will start again from private. What will happen? Owner can edit or not?
yes, sir.
What about the non-owner?
So
No,
cannot
sir.
edit.
Why?
So even though in the profile, sir, no. Sir, means is the edit access given to the non-owner in the profile?
Yes, the same profile is given to the owner and non-owner.
But as it is private, so the non-owner cannot edit it.
Why? That is a question.
Because that non-owner has not created the record, so that person can't even edit it also.
Answerটা কি এটাই হলো? মানে are you getting the point? Non-owner cannot edit it. Absolutely right. Non-owner cannot edit it because they cannot even see the record.
Sir, because yes, and even we are
It would take
layering
the
the
record
record.
together. Yeah, they have no access to that record. The record does not even exist for them. They cannot query, they cannot search anything. That record does not exist for them. They cannot see that record itself. So they cannot edit. Can they read?
No, sir.
No, sir.
They cannot read because
Sir,
they are
as
not
it is
able.
private.
Yes, they cannot even read. So no questions of editing. Now let us upgrade this OWT to public read only. Now what changes happen here?
Non-owner
Sir,
can
no,
see the
can
record.
read the record but cannot edit the record.
So read opens up. What about edit? Edit is still blocked, right? Any question? Any confusion? What will happen if public read write is there?
Then the non-owner can read also, write also,
Read
but
also,
cannot
write.
create and delete.
The permission is not there with the owner. Now we are opening up delete permission. What will happen? In the profile, I am now giving the delete permission. Can owner delete their own records?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's start with private again. So delete, yes. What about the
Yes.
non-owners?
No, they can't.
What about the private? What about the non-owners?
So they cannot delete it.
You can't delete it.
They can not only cannot delete it, they cannot read it, they cannot edit it, anything. It's a private model. They have no access. Clear? Now PRO. Public read only. What changes?
Can read but cannot edit or delete.
Right. Now public read write. What will happen?
No restrictions, sir. No
Absolutely.
restrictions in access.
That's right. But delete is limited to not all objects. Please remember this. There is an exception to delete. There are some objects where non-owners cannot delete the records. Okay, just like case. So there are few objects wherein owner, even in the public read write world, will not be able to delete the record. Okay, please remember that. I think opportunity is also that object. I don't remember. Test it out. Create again. Tell me about create. Now I give a create permission. I start from private. Basically, when you are creating a record, you always are the owner of the record also. So this opens up for you. Non-owner creation for non-owners makes no sense. So basically, when it is a public read write, then on non-owner cannot create for somebody else, right? You can create, of course, an owner. You can upload the data as owner data that you can create. So non-owner can create in public read write mode. Same model. Okay? No difference. It will open up only for here. Any questions? Any confusion? So how do I remember all this? There is a very easy formula to remember is profile plus all permission sets put together. Permission 1, permission set 2. So all permissions of a person versus OWD, whichever is a low, which has blocker will win. Lesser wins. What does it mean? Lesser permission wins. If you have lesser permission in profile and permission sets, then lesser permissions will win. If you have lesser permission in OWD, lesser permission will win. Okay, so you don't have to remember all these combinations. It is very easy. Just find out what is a blocker. Is it blocking in OWD or is it blocking in the profiles of permission sets? Whatever place it is blocking, basically it will block the user. Clear? Very easy formula to remember. That is all for today's class. If we have no further questions, then we'll break for today. Please practice record types very well. Record types and page layouts. Okay. We'll probably come with a assignment on record type and page layout also. Page layout is something which is also getting deprecated. So the new thing is called for lightning record page. We will discuss writing record page in subsequent sessions because that's a full chapter. Okay. Very critical class we had today. Very important topic. So please practice and go through this class again and again. The most number of questions you will face in an interview is from this class. So this concept should be crystal clear. Thank you all. Any further